Don't be ridiculous, Michael. It's just a vacation with their dad. Lauren stood in the doorway of my garage workshop, arms crossed, that tone in her voice, the one that made me feel like I was overreacting before I'd even finished speaking. I had grease on my hands from the vintage Harley I'd been restoring all morning, my Saturday ritual, my peace. Now that peace was shattered. Wait, I said, setting down my wrench. You're going on a 2-week vacation with David? Your ex-husband? And taking Emma and Jake? She sighed like I was a child who didn't understand basic logic. David wants to take the kids to his family's lake house. They're still young, Emma's only 10, Jake's 7. I'm going to make sure everything runs smoothly. They need their mother there. Something in her voice didn't sit right. Too rehearsed. Too defensive. I'd heard that tone before, years ago with my first wife Sarah. She used it when she was lying about Mark, her best friend. For months Sarah told me I was paranoid, controlling, insecure. Then one day she was gone, moved in with Mark within a week. 8 years of marriage erased. I swore I'd never ignore red flags again. Lauren, 2 weeks is a long time. We've never been apart that long. I kept my voice calm, measured. I didn't want to be that guy, the jealous, insecure husband. But my gut was screaming. Her phone buzzed on the workbench between us. The screen lit up. I saw it for just a split second before she snatched it away. David Red Heart, with a heart emoji. My jaw tightened. When did she add a heart to his name? She flipped the phone over, screen down. Michael, you're being insecure. What do you want me to do? Deny the kids time with their father? But I wasn't talking about the kids. I was talking about her. Please, before I continue, kindly like, share and subscribe for more interesting videos. That night I tried again. We were in bed, the lights off, the kind of darkness that makes hard conversations feel safer somehow. Lauren, I need you to understand, I'm not comfortable with this. 2 weeks is half a month. Can't David handle the kids on his own? He is their father, right? She rolled over to face me, and even in the dark I could feel the heat of her glare. Wow. Just wow. So you don't trust me? After 5 years of marriage, you actually think I'd do something inappropriate with my ex-husband? That's not what I'm saying. That's exactly what you're saying, Michael. You're making this about you when it's about the kids. Emma and Jake deserve time with their dad. I'm going to facilitate that. If you can't handle it, that's your problem, not mine. She turned away from me, pulled the blanket tight around her shoulders. Conversation over. I was the villain now. Somehow, in the span of 2 minutes, I'd become the bad guy for having boundaries. I stared at the ceiling, my mind racing. This was the same playbook Sarah used. Turn it around. Make me question myself. Make me apologize for feeling what I felt. The next morning, I found her packing list on the kitchen counter. Red wine, the expensive kind, $40 a bottle. A red dress I'd never seen before, tag still on it. New lingerie from Victoria's Secret, receipt dated 3 days ago. $200 worth. For a trip to help with the kids. I picked up the receipt, studied it. She'd bought this stuff the same day David called about the lake house. She'd been planning this, preparing for it. My hands started shaking. I set the receipt down carefully, deliberately, like it might explode. I didn't say anything. Not yet. I needed to be sure. The morning they left, I stood in the driveway watching Lauren load suitcase after suitcase into her SUV. Too much luggage for 2 weeks with kids. Emma and Jake ran around the front yard, excited, oblivious. I knelt down and hugged them both tight, maybe too tight. Emma pulled back and looked at me with those sharp 10-year-old eyes that saw too much. She leaned in close to my ear and whispered, "Are you and Mom fighting because of Dad?" My heart stopped. "What do you mean, sweetheart?" She glanced back at Lauren, then at me. "Mom's been texting him a lot. Like all the time. She smiles different when she reads his messages. Not like when she reads yours." I felt something crack inside my chest. Kids see everything. They're like emotional satellites picking up signals adults think they're hiding. Jake tugged on my sleeve, his little face scrunched with worry. "Michael, are you gonna be here when we get back?" The question hit me like a fist. I forced the biggest smile I could manage. "Of course, buddy. I'm not going anywhere." But even as I said it, I wasn't sure it was true. Lauren slammed the trunk shut. "Kids, let's go. We're going to hit traffic." She didn't even look at me, just got in the driver's seat and started the engine. That's when David pulled up in a brand new Tesla, metallic blue, the kind that costs 90 grand. He'd been struggling financially, according to Lauren, just 6 months ago. He stepped out, tanned, fit, grinning like he'd already won something. He waved at me. Actually waved. "Thanks for sharing, man." Sharing. Like my wife and kids were library books. I stood there, fists clenched at my sides, watching them drive away. Emma looked back at me through the rear window, her face pressed against the glass. She looked scared. I should have stopped them right then. The first 3 days I got texts. Short ones. Kids are having a blast. Fishing today. Smiling face with smiling eyes, with a picture of Emma holding a tiny bass. Jake caught a frog. He named it Michael LOL. Each message felt more distant than the last, like she was checking a box on a to-do list. By day 4 the text stopped. I called. Voicemail. I called again. Voicemail. I texted asking if everything was okay. Read receipt showed she'd seen it. No response for 6 hours. Then just, busy with kids. Talk later. Day 7 I couldn't take it anymore. I checked our joint bank account, something I rarely did because I trusted her. My stomach dropped. She'd withdrawn $3,000 the day before they left. The memo said, Vacation Emergency Fund. $3,000. For emergencies at a free lake house. Day 10 nearly broke me. I was scrolling Instagram, torturing myself when I saw it. Lauren had posted to her close friend's story. She must have forgotten I was still on that list. There she was on a boat, sunset behind her, David's arm draped over her shoulder. Both kids laughing in the background. The caption made my blood run cold. Healing old wounds, red heart, adhesive bandage. Healing old wounds. Not making memories with the kids. Not co-parenting wins. Healing wounds. I sat in our empty house, the silence crushing me like deep water. Every room echoed with her absence. I walked past Emma's room, Jake's room, our bedroom, the bed we'd shared for 5 years. I'd paid off her $18,000 in credit card debt within our first year of marriage. I funded Emma's braces, $3,000. I coached Jake's soccer team every Saturday for 2 years. I took them to Disneyland twice, spent nearly $8,000 total. But at Lauren's family gatherings, her parents still introduced David as the kid's father, and me as Lauren's husband. At school, Emma's emergency contact still listed David first. I was never the priority. I was the safety net. The backup plan. I opened my laptop and typed, divorce lawyers near me. Then I stopped. My hand hovered over the mouse. Not yet. One more move first. I called Eric at 7 in the morning. He was my best friend since college, now a real estate agent. I need to sell the house. Fast. Quiet. Long pause. What? Michael, what's going on? I'll explain later. Can you list it without Lauren knowing? That's legally complicated, man. You can't just. It's in my name. I bought it before we got married. Check the deed. I'd been smart about that, learned from my first marriage. Some scars teach you lessons. I heard him typing. Holy shit. You're right. Okay. I can list it Monday, but where are you going? I smiled, cold and sharp. Somewhere she'll never find me. My sister Rachel called an hour later. She's a family therapist, always knew things before I did. 2 years ago she'd warned me, Lauren's not over David. I see it in the way she talks about him. She compares you constantly. I defended Lauren back then. Told Rachel she was just processing a 10-year marriage. Now Rachel's words echoed in my skull like a prophecy I should have heeded. I started packing. Not everything, just essentials. Clothes, documents, my grandfather's watch, the only thing I had left from him. I left the wedding photos on the mantle. Let her have those memories. I booked a one-way flight to Asheville, North Carolina. Lauren always said she hated North Carolina, said it was boring and too quiet. Perfect. What she didn't know was I'd been planning an exit for 6 months. Not because I wanted to leave, but because I wanted security. I'd been saving in a private account she didn't know about. I'd bought 5 acres of land near Asheville, paid in cash. I'd started an online consulting business on the side, building clients slowly, carefully. I built a life raft in case the marriage sank. When Lauren announced that vacation, I didn't panic. I activated the plan. Day 12 of her trip. Eric called. Signs up. Michael, are you sure about this? I've never been more sure of anything. Within an hour, my phone started buzzing. Mrs. Peterson from next door texted Lauren, Honey, is everything okay? There's a for sale sign on your lawn? Lauren called me 17 times in a row. I watched the screen light up over and over, her name flashing. I didn't answer. She texted, What is going on? Call me now. I replied with the only message I'd send, You chose a vacation with your ex over your marriage. I'm choosing my peace. Papers will be filed when you return. The house is sold. I'm done. I blocked her number. Blocked her email. Checked our joint bank account one last time. I withdrew my half, down to the penny, and closed it. I'd contributed 70% of what was in there anyway. My phone buzzed again. A different number. David. He left a voicemail. I listened once. Dude, Lauren's freaking out. What's your problem? Can't handle a modern family? His voice was smug, amused. I deleted it and blocked him too. Eric texted, got an offer already. Cash buyer. Closing in 2 weeks. I texted back, take it. At the lake house, Lauren was spiraling. Emma told me later, months later when she finally called, that Lauren cried for hours, locked herself in the bathroom. David had smirked when he saw my text, said, guess he couldn't handle it. Lauren snapped at him, told him to shut up. For the first time she realized what she'd done. But it was too late. I was already gone. Day 14. Lauren pulled into the driveway at 3 p.m., the Tesla following behind her. The for sale sign was gone, already sold, already under contract. A lockbox hung on the front door like a corpse. She tried her key. It didn't turn. I changed the locks. Emma and Jake stood on the lawn, confused, scared. Where's Michael? Jake asked, his voice small. Why won't the door open? Lauren's hands were shaking. She tried the back door, the garage, even the window she always said I should fix. Everything locked. Everything sealed. She called the real estate office. They told her the house had been sold, that she'd need to arrange for her belongings to be picked up within 10 days or they'd be donated. She called my work. They said I'd taken an indefinite leave of absence. She called Eric, he wouldn't talk to her. She called my sister Rachel. Rachel said, you made your choice, Lauren. Live with it, and hung up. Emma, older and sharper than any 10-year-old should be, whispered, he left because of you, Mom. Lauren broke. Fell to her knees on the grass, sobbing. David stood there awkwardly, hands in his pockets, suddenly aware that his smug little victory had consequences he hadn't considered. Lauren walked to the garage. Taped to the door was a single envelope, her name written in my handwriting. Inside, a printed bank statement showing every dollar I'd spent on her and the kids over 5 years, $73,000 total. A copy of divorce papers already filed. And a note on plain white paper. You taught me that love isn't enough when respect is missing. I hope he was worth it. She read it 3 times. Then she crumpled it in her fist and screamed. It took less than 48 hours for the story to spread. Small town, big gossip. Someone, I never found out who, posted it in the local Facebook group. Woman takes kids on 2-week vacation with ex-husband, comes home to find husband gone and house sold. Thoughts. 4,000 comments in 6 hours. The post went viral, jumped to Reddit, then TikTok, then YouTube. Millions of views. Most sided with me. He didn't leave. He escaped. This man is a legend. Every guy should learn from this. Know your worth. Lauren's face was blurred in most posts, but people figured out who she was. Someone recognized her at the grocery store. A woman whispered loud enough for Lauren to hear, that's her. The one who threw away a good man. Lauren's mother called her, furious. You destroyed him. Michael was the best thing that ever happened to you, and you destroyed him for David? The same man who ignored you and the kids for years. Lauren tried to defend herself. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like, Lauren? Explain it to me. Because from where I'm standing, you're a fool. Her mother hung up. David lasted 3 weeks before he left. He'd moved in temporarily to help with the kids, but within days he was the same man Lauren had divorced. Controlling, lazy, dismissive. One night Emma overheard him tell Lauren, you had a guy who worshipped you and you blew it. I'm only here because Stephanie won't take me back. Stephanie. His new girlfriend. The real reason David staged the perfect family vacation, to win her back. He'd used Lauren. And Lauren had fallen for it because she never healed from their marriage. Lauren checked her email. A message from my lawyer, custody evaluation requested. Her blood went cold. 3 weeks after I left, Emma asked Lauren if she could call me. Lauren agreed, desperate to prove she wasn't the monster everyone said she was. Emma's voice cracked when I answered. Michael? Are you ever coming back? I was sitting on the porch of my cabin in Asheville, coffee in hand, mountains stretching blue and endless in front of me. Not to your mom, sweetheart. But I'll always be here for you and Jake if you need me. You're not the ones who hurt me. Can we visit you? I paused. This was the hardest part. When you're older, if you want it, yes. I'd love that. I'm sorry, Michael. I told Mom you'd leave if she went. She didn't listen. My voice cracked. That's not your fault, Emma. You're a good kid. Don't ever think this was your fault. Jake grabbed the phone. Michael, I miss you. Mom cries every night. Dad says you're weak. My jaw tightened. Jake, I'm not weak. I'm strong enough to walk away from people who don't respect me. Remember that when you're older, okay? Never let anyone treat you like you're second place. Okay, he whispered. I heard Lauren in the background. Kids, that's enough. The line went dead. David stayed another 2 weeks before he finally left for good. The mask slipped completely. He was controlling, told Lauren how to parent, criticized her cooking, complained about money. One evening, Emma sat at the top of the stairs with her iPad, recording. David's voice boomed from the kitchen. You had a man who worshipped you, Lauren. A guy who paid off your debt, took care of kids that weren't even his, and you blew it for me. I'm only here because Stephanie won't take me back. You're my backup plan just like you made him yours. Lauren's voice was small, broken. Get out. Gladly. Good luck finding another Michael. Guys like that don't grow on trees. The door slammed. David was gone. Emma stopped recording and emailed the video to herself, then to me. I watched it once. Then I deleted it. I didn't need it. I already knew who David was. Lauren texted me that night. I'm so sorry. Please, can we talk? Message delivered. Never read. I'd blocked her months ago through my carrier. The message sat in a digital void, unanswered, like her marriage. Someone sent my story to Reddit's relationship forum. Then TikTok exploded with it. Reaction videos, breakdowns, debates. Then YouTube picked it up. 10 million views in a week. Comments flooded in. This is what self-respect looks like. She chose chaos over peace. He chose himself. That's power. Every man watching this, learn. Boundaries matter. Lauren saw the post. Her face was blurred, but people figured it out. She was recognized everywhere. The gym, the bank, Target. A man in line behind her at Starbucks muttered, "Some people don't know what they have." She isolated. Stopped going out. Stopped posting online. Her friends distanced themselves. Even her sister said, "You need to own this, Lauren. You made choices." One night, desperate, Lauren logged into an old email account I didn't know about. She reached out to a mutual friend, got my address. She decided to drive to North Carolina. I'll fix this, she whispered to herself in the mirror. But some things can't be fixed. Lauren showed up at my cabin on a Saturday morning. I was on the porch, coffee in hand, healthier and calmer than I'd been in years. I saw her car pull up the gravel driveway. I didn't move. She got out, walked toward me slowly like approaching a wild animal. Michael, please? I raised my hand. Stop. I made a mistake. I know I did. I'll do anything to fix this. Therapy, counseling, whatever you want. I set my coffee down and looked at her, really looked at her. She'd aged. Dark circles under her eyes. Thinner. Tired. Lauren, I don't hate you. But I don't love you anymore either. You taught me something important. I'd rather be alone than be someone's backup plan. She started crying. The kids miss you. Emma asks about you every day. I miss them too. But you made choices that hurt all of us. You don't get to undo that by showing up here. She dropped to her knees on my porch. Please. I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you. I stayed calm. Cool. Go home, Lauren. Build the life you wanted with David. Or whoever's next. I'm building mine. And it doesn't include you. I stood, walked to my door and closed it. Locked it. I heard her crying outside for 10 minutes before her car started and she drove away. 6 months later, my consulting business was thriving. I was dating a woman named Claire, a third-grade teacher, kind, drama-free, no ex-husband baggage. Emma and Jake visited for a weekend. Lauren allowed it after months of legal negotiation. They hugged me so tight I thought my ribs would crack. We're glad you're happy, Michael, Emma said. I smiled. Me too, guys. Me too. Some people will always choose their past over their future. I chose myself. And I've never looked back.